it was kind of getting free consultancy advice from top people in the industry as your professor. So it was really a very nice experience. Like I remember the professor who was teaching us AI governance was a part in the making of the new EU AI Act. In most of the universities in Europe, if you want to do a business master's, you need to have a business bachelor's. But finally, I found this course, digital economy, where it is not the case. You could be from a tech or a business background and still do this course.
Hello guys, I'm Apeksha. This is Roaming Relations and welcome to yet another video about education in Vienna. What are we going to talk about in this video is about WU, and we are going to interview Mohit, which is my friend who recently completed his education in digital economy in WU University, Vienna University. And what do we cover in this channel? In this channel, we cover a wide variety of topics from education to living in Europe and also about the United Nations. So, without further ado, let's get started. If you do like the content of this video, please consider subscribing and watch more of the videos in the I button here. Let's welcome Mohit to the channel now. So, welcome Mohit, welcome to Roaming Relations.
Thank you.
And we can start the video where you can introduce yourself first and then we can go into the details. So please start by introducing yourself.
Sure. So, hi guys, my name is Mohit Mrinal, and I did my master's from WU Vienna in digital economy. After, like, I had a background in tech, in computer science from India, and then I worked for a year at United Nations, and then went ahead for this master's. And maybe we'll answer more questions in the questions that are in line.
All right. And what inspired you to choose WU University and Austria for your studies?
So it was basically a mix of two strong reasons. First was the course, and the second was the city. Let's touch upon the course first. So being working as a freelance developer for 4 years during my BTech, I was very much inclined towards the business side of tech. So wanted to do a business master's. But we know that in most of the universities in Europe, if you want to do a business master's, you need to have a business bachelor's. But finally, I found this course, digital economy, where it is not the case. You could be from a tech or a business background and still do this course. And it's basically a mix of IT and business, as well as few courses from IT law and governance. So the coursework was really interesting, and that's what really motivated me to go for this. And the second was, of course, Vienna as a city, like most livable city for 10 years in a row. So I thought let's try it. Why not?
Yeah, Vienna was like it completely changed my vision about living. I was even when I went to Vienna, it was so fun. I mean, you get everything. There's amazing public transportation and you get everything here. Traveling around Europe, it's so convenient. It's also budget friendly. What did you love the most about Vienna?
The most, I would say, it's a whole livable package. But if you want me to list, I would say, of course, the public transport. Like you don't have to, wait anywhere because I am coming from Delhi, where if you want to take a metro, you have to go through first a security line, and then have to scan your ticket and then enter the metro. And if you're talking about buses, then it's a nightmare to take a bus if you are not very regular in taking a bus over here. But in Vienna, like, it was always on time, completely, not completely, but mostly empty, available. You just have to walk in, and then it takes you to your destination right on time. So public transportation was the major thing that I liked in Vienna. Second was, of course, the surrounding, the clean air, because like coming from Delhi, the air was also a thing. Like
A big reason.
you could, you could feel the earthly pressures, like the clean air, the clean soil. When it's a sunshine, you get to really feel the heat from the sun without any layers in the atmospheric pollution. So there was a lot of things that made me think that, yeah, this is a city where one can live without thinking about much of the hassle that doesn't have to be there actually.
Yeah. Can you describe a bit about the digital economy program, about the courses that were there, and how difficult was it? Where were the professors from, and like were they into corporates, and then they were coming as a professor, and a little bit about curriculum, which is different from other institutions.
Yeah. So let's touch upon that. So first, in Europe, when people say digital economy, they actually mean digital business. Like people in Europe call business as economy most of the times,
Yeah.
especially in the Austrian region. So the course really is digital business. So the curriculum includes all the modules that you really need to know or at least be familiar with for running a digital business. To give you an example, like I had courses from IT side of things where it was like system design, database management, security and privacy, and those kind of structures where it is not really too much into technical side of coding and developing the systems, but more from an architectural level where you can understand how systems should be standardized and how to operate, how decision flows. And then pairing up with other subjects from the business side of things, we had like business process management, business project management, transformative management, and so many other subjects that really gives you a vision of how to operate from a managerial level into the organizational setup and how things should flow. And then also taking into account the things that you really shouldn't ignore while running a digital business. Things like IT law, of course, what really makes you, use someone else's content, how you can use it, how you cannot, what are copyright laws, what are different kind of public and private IT laws that you should be familiar with. And of course, if you are working in a more complex and organizational setting, you should be also aware of the IT governance that should be in check. Otherwise, you can't really operate IT at a large scale without those government governance measures in place. So it was kind of a full package of everything that you should be knowing out. And then, of course, in the final year, you choose your electives, and that's where you can really trim down your approach into where you want to work with. Like for me, I took the data science and AI as my specialization. It was also like kind of broken down into like two parts in the third and fourth semester. The third was more from a technical perspective, where like we were dealing with how to build transformer models, how does the large language models work, and other kind of technical side of AI. And then in the fourth semester, we were dealing with more on the AI governance side. And to answer your second question about the professors, so professors are really, really qualified to teach the course. Like I remember the professor who was teaching us AI governance was a part in the committee. I would say not. I don't know the exact details, but she was a part in the making of the new EU AI Act. So we were getting like latest and updated learnings firsthand. And I also remember another specialization because there are few courses or maybe specializations in the program where the professors have designed the curriculum themselves. Like I also took one more specialization, which was like critical thinking in social media, and it was like the best course of the program for me personally because it was kind of dealing with psychology and marketing, and then into the content of social media and how you can identify different biases before making a decision, or maybe you can reverse engineer some biases into the business operations. So she actually worked in marketing for quite a long time into big brands, and then she designed this course of what really should be uh, you know very, very interesting for students to get skilled with. And then she, yeah, delivered the course, and it was really, really amazing.
This is amazing part about studying in Europe, because in India we have old curriculums uh, in schools, in colleges, in university, but their curriculum is updated every year. And whenever professor wants, she brings new case studies, new things to work on. So uh, this program and this university really made you um, At Mark in Tech, you really got to know everything that is going on right now. A big plus point that we can give to this course, this university.
Yeah, like I still remember reading the course curriculum for the data science and AI part one in the first year. At that time, ChatGPT was not public, so it was not in the curriculum. But when we were about to reach the second year, and then the curriculum also updated and included, some points around ChatGPT. So it was like really, really like spot on.
Right. So really, really lot of learning opportunities. Did you have lectures every week, or like how was the self-study time and uh, the theory time that you spend in the university, the lectures, I mean?
It was also very different, like because coming from the education system here in India, like because I was doing my BTech in JP, so we had like kind of a structure where you have classes every day and then 1 hour for each subject. So if I'm having classes from, let's say, 9 to 3, then we have like 5 subjects, 1 hour each.
Hmm.
But that's not the case over there. Like you might be just having one class on a day or maybe two classes on a day, but it will stretch to like 2 to 4 hours depending upon how they are, like the professor is structuring it. I still remember, like in the IT law, we only had one class every Friday for 3.5 hours, and that's it. So it really
Intensive.
helps. It really helps you keep the concentration, and like because a lot of time is also kind of wasted in the starting phase when you are settling down in the subject, and also at the end phase when you're kind of wrapping up and then looking at the time to like get over with the lesson. But when it's like a complete 3 to 4 hour session, you have like
Flow,
holistic.
really, really, like you can go in concentration and go in the topic in depth.
Yeah, yeah. And we also have like breaks in between, of course, not a one stretch 4 hour session, but yeah, it really is very different. And then you only have classes on the days when you have classes for those particular subjects. So sometimes even there is like a day or two off in a week and so on.
They are tough. And then after that, what about the assignments and what the difficulty level of the examination?
It is quite easy. Like if you are really listening into the class, then it is not really challenging to prepare, because I'll tell you different. Because when I was in BTech, like like we used to just study few days before the exam. So that was like there were two major differences. First, that if we are not being consistent every day in the class, then
Yeah.
we are not really up to date with what is the content. Secondly, if it is not very very relevant, or maybe you are not being able to relate to it very easily, then it starts getting boring. But here, because the content was really really updated, and you could while reading you could relate and relate with real life examples, and ideas start popping up into your mind, so this makes it a little bit interesting. And secondly, you have to do something on a daily basis if you are in a good university, because you can't like stack it all for the examination day, because there is no exam in some subjects as well. So if you have like weekly assignments, you have to stay awake in the classes for the whole week to really submit that assignment, because each assignment is graded and then piles up to your final grade. So these are two differences that really made the difference and did not let me deviate from the topic and prepare for it specifically, which could make it feel difficult in a way.
So, because you were working on your own projects and your own AI bot, can share a bit about that also right now.
Yeah, so the idea really was to, do something of my own. And when we were just about to finish the first year, the chat GPT bubble came in. So we, started with the AI blogs and then shifted to AI tools. Now we, of course, do B2B AI development. But that journey was also like really fun. And during the whole second year, I was kind of juggling between the, academics and managing team and tech for the AI tools dashboard. Because for example, if I'm learning something about biases in the subject, which was like critical thinking in social media, and then something is around the pricing, how should we price different packages so that it triggers certain kind of biases in the viewer's mind. And then like I was also like kind of relating it with how I am putting up the packages in my AI tools dashboard, and then I could really ask the question, and it was kind of getting free consultancy advice from top people in the industry as your professor. So it was really a very nice experience. You could work here and then study here and then relate all the concepts, and it could amplify your learning, I would say.
That's really smart. Really very appreciated. You took the most out of your course, which is the goal that one should have when he's moving abroad for studies. So,
Even for other people, if you are not even if you are not planning to do something of your own, if you are into some employment perspective, then also you should be doing something like this. You should be, attending regular events in your area of interest, domain of expertise, and then meeting with such people, coming up with doubts, and which you can then come back and ask to your professors in your department, and then it amplifies your learning. Because if you are just sitting in the class and just consuming the content, then it's limited to what they have to offer, just that. But if you are also going out and participating in the real world scenarios somehow, even be it as small as attending a event in marketing, let's say, and meeting with certain speakers over there, and asking questions, and then maybe something you could recall from the event, which you can ask in the class. And it really depends, but one should always be active holistically to get the most out of what they are studying.
and let's talk about the shocking things, what you felt when you moved from India to Austria. Like, what was
Yeah,
a
so
culture shock?
cultural shock. So it was actually my first time out of India, and that too alone, and then that too directly to Vienna for 2 years. So the first cultural shock was, of course, the food. I was not expecting the food to be so much without masala or without
Uh,
taste.
yeah,
Because
it's very
if they
bland.
are flavor, so that was the first cultural shock. Like, how are they surviving with this? And not much of other cultural shocks, but the second one was the unisex washrooms, because that was something that I was not expecting. I did not know. There was instances where I was confused that if I'm walking into the right washroom or not, because you go in and see a woman coming to the bathing area, and then you like, and then you look at double check, and then sometimes they also confirm, and then yeah, it's the right one. So it was expected.
Right. And also, what are the differences that you observed in lifestyle um, from India, and how the people behave with you, like international student, how were they reacting? How was their behavior different from Indians? Like, I'll tell you what I observed. I observed that in India we get frank very easily. We are really open with students and we become friends quickly. But international students, and moreover Europeans and Germans, Austrians mainly, they really value their personal space, and they like to spend time alone and do hiking alone, traveling alone, and uh, work life balance is a lot valued. So these were some of the changes which I noticed, and like which I really took with me while coming back. What were some of the changes that happened with you? What you felt was like really life changing, and um, which really inspired you?
Mm, okay. I actually had a bit different experience, even like back in India as well. Was I was more of an introvert person, being a techie at the first place. So when I moved out, I did not research beforehand, so I did not know how Austrians behave and how friendly they are and stuff. I was having no preconceived notions in my mind about like no judgment, pre-filtered. But what I felt in my experience was that yes, of course, they are a bit reserved, but not that. But they want you to make the first move. Maybe like if you go out and then start talking to them, they are open to you know getting friends with you and even you know taking you to places that otherwise you wouldn't even know about. And mostly my friend circle was also from people from different countries, not more of the local elites. Like we had like 5 people. So one was from Bratislava, one was from China, one from Vietnam, one from Armenia, and myself from India, and then I also had like an Austrian friend, Harold, and few others. So it was a mixed experience. I wouldn't say that I had most of the experience from the people from Austria only. So it was mixed. And even then, when you meet person A from a same country and then person B from the same country, it is also not the same. It's very, very
Right.
subjective based on whatever personal experiences they are having.
Right.
And yeah, so overall, I had a very nice experience with everyone I interacted with. I wouldn't disagree that Austrians are a bit reserved in the initial uh, phases. You have to open up first.
Yeah.
But one takeaway that I took back with me was, to just say it. Whatever is in your mind, just say it, and then you don't have to think a lot about whether you should be saying it or not. You just say it.
Yeah.
So my transition from being an introvert, like super introvert, to less introvert or maybe a bit more extrovert has been with this holistic experience only.
Right, right. And how did you juggle between meeting friends and attending events and attending your course curriculum and also your personal AI projects? There's so much. How did you manage everything?
Yeah, it really comes down to your time management. And I wouldn't say that it's easy or I was able to do it all. Most of the time I was postponing stuff to next week or next day or even skipping it altogether based on the priorities. But yeah, you have to if you manage your time, if you put certain blocks of time for certain kind of task, like for example, if you are into university and if you are attending a 3 hour lecture and then you know that there would be assignment after this session, then I kind of used to block 4 hours for that subject. So 3 hours with super attention, so I don't have to revise what was told. And then after the class, I was like kind of sitting immediately after a 5 minute break to do the assignment so that I am done with the university work before I leave the university. So then I can focus on something else. Because if in a normal scenario, if you would take up the assignment maybe 1 or 2 days later, then you need a little bit more time to recall the stuff. And then also, so it won't take 1 hour, it will surely take more than 2 hours. So that's how you have to sometimes block in the time and just do it.
Nice. Yeah. No, it's really difficult. I really appreciate all this work. And, even after this stuff, we have a lot to do, like buy groceries home and cook for yourself. It also takes up a lot of time cooking, cleaning, and everything. It adds up a lot, and still doing a lot. That's really commendable.
Yeah, that's true. Like I remember that I fixed Sunday 1 hour for cleaning. So I have to clean in that 1 hour. Otherwise, I'll see a dirty room for the rest of the week. So that was kind of my motivation for cleaning. And other days, I used to keep the room, not so dirty, so that because I know that I'll be only cleaning on Sunday, so I have to, keep it cleaned for the rest of the days. And yeah, cooking is also something which takes up your time. So I actually cook all my meals every day because it saves you up from like cost perspective. Secondly, it it does take a little bit of time in cooking in the initial days, but then like you cook in the morning and then you have it for the rest of the day. So that's the key.
Yeah, it saves up time, and after a point, we are just like, yeah, give us anything to eat. We'll just eat, and because that it is so overwhelming to cook every different meal, every time cannot it cannot be done. So even I used to meal prep